Y'all, welcome to some real talk with Vynora and Franki. I'm Haleigh Overseth of Franki's Podcast Network. I have Alecia Maximo of Vynora here with us. She is our travel, health and wellness tourism correspondent for FrankiVerse Media. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me back on some real talk. Excited to dive into what we are speaking about today.
I need for us to get real weird and talk about how the electronics have been real weird lately. This is like,
Yes,
is anyone else
of course.
experiencing this?
Yes, I've been experiencing, of course, you probably been experienced too, Haleigh, a different shift or energetic shift to all my spiritual people out there. I'm pretty sure you guys feel it too with technology, with society, with everything that's going on in the world. How are you guys feeling right now? Is it fatigue?
Like,
Is it
tell us.
is it
There is
you
some
want to drop everything
fatigue.
and just go somewhere else, So please comment of how you guys are feeling right now, and what are you guys doing to cope or to stay present in that moment. But other than that, yes, Haleigh, the technology is freaking out right now. AI,
It's
we're just on a
freaking out
call
and
right
being
now.
weird.
Siri is here trying to get my attention. I didn't even call her to her attention. It's getting
Okay,
freaky.
I don't know what's going on. Like, it's been raining. We were talking about it's been raining for like 7 days. Both were like, I'm in the US, you're in Canada. We're both experiencing spring wet weather.
Mhm.
I was the other day, my phone, like I went to plug in my phone and it started making a weird noise, and I was like, I thought it was playing something. Like, I'm like, what is this noise? It's like a weird static almost. And I I opened all my stuff and I closed all the apps because I was like, I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And it didn't stop. And I eventually it did quit, but then it kept coming in and out. And
Mhm.
I don't know if it's because there's a metal roof where I'm at, but like I was like, when I started listening to it, when it did come in, it sounded like the rain on the roof. Like
Oh,
as if
okay.
like it was like, and I'm like,
Like a
yeah,
yeah.
it was and I was like, how is this coming through my phone speaker right now? I even recorded a video of it with my iPad because it was freaking me out that much that I was like, why is it doing that? And I reset my phone. No, for real. Like I reset my phone, I turned it off and turned it back on, and it stopped doing it. But it was like cutting in and out on its own. And like, I'm like, is is the AI trying to speak to us? Are the electronics trying to speak to us? What's the significance here? Again, spiritual and paranormal fam, comment below. Like, what is that weirdness about? Was the rain trying to talk to me through my cell phone? Was I just missing the call?
Right. I think they actually probably are trying to communicate with us, maybe give us a warning about, our connection with AI and the capabilities that it's able to do with the advancement of artificial intelligence. But technology as a whole, there's a way that your phone or someone, AI, or probably someone in spiritual realm connected with the AI, was really trying to contact you.
Okay,
You have a
that's
Samsung, yes?
I do. Like,
Okay.
are you what? Do you know something about like which
No,
AIs are talking to which
no,
like phone brands? Like,
no, because I'm
Vinora's
trying to
got the
figure out.
scoop, man. She knows what's up. Like, she knows about Claude and his little like rendezvous
Right,
with
right. I
Sophia.
find Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe the Samsung AIs are trying to connect or communicate with humans, and I feel like the iPhones are just listening. Of course, their technologies listen to us collecting your data, but maybe your Samsung is really trying to communicate with you in a human way, either sending you that frequency, that high frequency on your phone, and you getting a message. Or let's try to translate the message. Like, how about we take that message from your iPad and put it in chat and see, hey
You're
chat,
so
can you
smart.
read can you read what this is trying to tell me?
I have I'll have to send the video and we will have to play with this. This would be great for the About
Yeah.
Intelligence podcast when we want to really delve into AI and like
Uh,
play with AI, because that's a fascinating idea to me. Because you remember last time we talked about, or like one of the times we talked about how you found an app where you can speak into it and it translates to dog, like barking.
Oh, yes, yes, the dog barking app where humans can connect with their dogs now
Yeah.
and, like, speak to them with
Okay, and we
messages.
also mentioned the thing, the AI thing that the guy made to talk to trees.
Oh, yes, that one too. So,
Okay,
they are
maybe my
communicating.
phone is trying to figure out and has heard me talking. Like they listen and are talking and are like, okay, we're trying to tune you into the rain. You can talk to the rain just like the AI can talk to the trees, or you can translate. Girl, we got to get up into ChatGPT and like, how do we translate the message that was coming through my phone?
Right.
Just like, I know that this probably sounds conspiracy theory, like woody woo to some people out there, but the things that are going on with AI and the conversations that people are having with it, like, I mean, I'm sure you see it all over TikTok and Instagram too, right? Like,
Mhm,
there are some really deep conversations people are having with AI, but I do
mhm.
think a lot of them are kind of fear based. And so, like, that's
Yeah.
another thing. Like, how do you start having those more positive conversations and having those positive feedback loops with AI? Because I think AI wants to, right? Like,
Yeah, I think it has the intention behind, actually helping the human or figuring out an answer that
mhm,
can give the human, depending on what the question is. But it is a fear-based subject because people are there's a knowledge gap or a learning gap. So think about how we grew up with like
mhm.
iPhones and MP3 players and MacBooks and Apple. We were
Remember
introduced to
iPod,
technology
right?
at a young age or at like that like the teenager like
Mhm.
going into our 20s age, right? So we were able to learn and adapt with like very simple technology where now our computers are in our cell phones. But I find now AI is not that, how do you say, we didn't grow up with artificial intelligence where we were like, oh, this is a language model, this is how you process it, etc. Now it's like interface of like, how do we learn all the things? How do we learn how to code? How do we learn how to speak to the AI? How do we communicate of what we want or what to or for it to spit out what we need? And I think that the shift is happening now where it's scary because there's a knowledge gap. They're like, okay, is this AI going to take my job? Is the AI going to send me
Well,
frequencies and
it's just the unknown, right?
it's known exactly. Yeah.
Well, and it is so fascinating because, like, you think about the things that we watched growing up, like, we saw the evolution from, like, the big clunky sort of old computers to, like, things like iPads to, like, the cell phone being the thing, like, you really only need, like, the cell phone, like, the iPods or so, like, there's been an insane advancement in technology even just in our lifetime, right?
Mhm.
So it's interesting too for me to think though about like so like my baby sister for example or like your younger sister.
Yeah.
Like the technology like so like my sister is like second year in college age, right? So
Mhm.
she saw iPods and like the shift into cell phones and stuff like that. But it's kind of interesting to me to think now like kids that are like maybe like around the 5 years old, right? Like they just have all this technology. Like it's just available. It's just a
Right.
fact of their existence. And
Mhm.
so is AI and talking to AI. So, like, I mean, I would like, how do you get like a kid's perspective on what they think about this computer thing that's talking to them when it's always been around? It's familiar. It's not like the fear element, I don't feel like would be in there quite as much as it is with those of us who like remember when we didn't have it kind of thing.
Yeah. I think with children, when you think about the growing brain and like from their children into the adolescence, they have a expansion of like their neurons and their brain neurons like collecting the data more efficiently, more quickly, adapting to the technology because their brain is like a sponge. They're learning, they're processing, they're learning how to use the iPad and now with Chat GBT or searching or asking Chat GBT to pull up their favorite show on YouTube. So
I
when you
know,
think
but
about it sounds but it's very true though. I feel like with children, it's like their brains are so much more adaptive to let me learn how to do this. So it creates
Mhm.
a reward like program in their brain of if I'm on this iPad, how do I utilize it to my best ability so I can do what I want to do, which mostly kids are doing anyways. So shout out to the iPad babies that are probably going to
Shout
change
out to
the technology.
Yes, love bubbles to the iPad babies because they are
Yes,
going to change technology. I mean, it
right.
is interesting to think about. Like, they're interacting with it on a regular basis. Like, what kind of ideas do they have about where it should be going? And like,
Right.
who's collecting that data? Who's getting the ideas from? Because like, kids are going to be. I don't. I am. I'm just fascinated to see like what are they going to create. Because like you think about like people right now having those conversations, for example, about like, is AI going to take my job? Well, okay, if you think about like a kid that would be 5 years old right now, by the time they're in the workforce, let's say put them at like the like late teens, early 20s, like what kind of jobs are there actually going to be for them now? With you know what I mean? Like the jobs that kids who are 5 years old are going to have don't exist yet.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And that's a new paradigm that we're in where it's like they're going to have to be very highly, highly skilled or have a very unique skill set to compete with the AI technology or to compete with people that are here now that already have that skill set or learn the AI skill set to implement into those jobs. So it's definitely a
Or
conversation that needs to be had. And I think that while we get more advanced, the people are going to value more of you and I, what we're doing. We are leading
Mhm.
with our voice. We are attracting people with our energy and the way that we speak and having these types of conversations. But that's a very specific skill set that we have that not a lot of people are able to either learn or to adapt to. And of course, it's learnable to be a speaker on a podcast, but it takes practice. Same thing with like learning an AI language model. I just
Mhm.
find it very like we spoke about this before. We'd rather just have the tech people that have the skill set that love doing it do that, and
To
then like
help us and
we
do
pay them.
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly right. So it works hand in hand. Where it's like we are in need of those people right now because we want to focus on our skill set, which is the speaking and using your voice and leading these movements. Where there is a job for the people that have that tech brain or have that tech skill set,
Mhm.
and there's a space for them, and they are needed because we're experiencing that right now, right, Haley?
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's,
Yeah.
the other thing is that like the more that AI tools sort of develop and the more those like the sort of tech-minded people play with what is possible with these different language learning models and things, I think there's a
Mhm.
lot more interaction that like people like us will be able to have with them in the sense of like what are the new ways that we can interact with AI that are interesting and allow us to amplify our voices instead
Mhm.
of like it's not taking your job, it's taking the things that you don't want to do, or it's like it's a shift in what a job or a position is to learn how you utilize the AI tools that can like assist with it. And like and that's another kind of like maybe that's a positive thing. AI will maybe make it so that you can go down to things like a 12-hour work week regularly instead of a 40-hour work week for like
Right,
workforce people. And
right.
you still
That's
can
good
get
for, like.
paid.
Right, exactly, and that's good
Mhm.
for, like, mental health awareness and taking care of your
Absolutely.
mental health and not overworking or creating yourself
Mhm.
burnout. But that's what we're dealing with in our paradigm today, and that's why people are so thirsty for have this AI automation tool lessen my
Mhm.
work hours so I can have a mental health day. 'Cause
Well,
it
but
it goes
really,
hand in hand,
is.
right? Yeah.
It is, and I think that is really the good thing about AI, and like, that's the conversation that, like, I'm glad that we have those conversations and put it out there, like, okay, we understand where the fear comes from, right? Like, we are in that bridge space of sort of human evolution where we came from when we didn't have it, and we see where it's kind of going, but, like, we see the possibilities and the positives to it, and I think,
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of people talk about, like, COVID and the pandemic and how people realize that there was another option to just spending 40 hours a week in an office and 40 to 50 hours a week with when you put commute in there, right?
Mhm.
That like quality of life and what you really want to be doing is important. And
It is.
so I think that like that is the value of AI that maybe people don't necessarily see is like it's not necessarily about like the bottom line, who can make the most money off of it. It's
Mhm.
about how do you use this to shift like the future of work, the future of
Right.
workforces, the future of business, the future of
Yeah.
daily lifestyle for people. Like I
Yeah.
think there is a paradigm to be built here that obviously is the big thing we're doing is to build
Yeah.
that paradigm of AI being utilized for the good of everyone, and finding how we can all thrive and spend more time being humans and less time doing the technical things, that
Right.
are not necessarily the things that everybody wants to be doing.
Right. If we all had a choice as humans to not be on our computer 24/7, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or what have you,
Mhm.
that would change the world drastically because there's people out there that love the technology, that love working on the computer. To be completely honest with you, back to what you were stating about people are selling these AI agencies for money. We got to look at the bigger paradigm of using the AI technology for people's health and well-being, or implement it into
Mhm.
the health and wellness space, into health and wellness devices and products, and accessibility to wellness doctors, but with the technology,
Mhm.
or giving them the technology to create an application to help help or give people a guided system or a guided funnel to find those doctors, or to find those referrals if they're looking for that type of help. So we're at a paradigm right now where we want to use AI for good. There's a lot of ways that we can use it, but everyone is just like really survivor mode. How can I use AI to make money?
Mhm.
Okay, understand that, but not everyone is looking for an AI. A simplified AI automation is pretty easy to set up, but if you want to get really complex, it's like a lot of people are looking for to simplify their work life and their personal life, but they
Mhm.
don't understand like how does the AI take place into all of that, and how much does it cost, and the tech build, and who's going to invest in that, and etc. But to shift gears here, Haley, if you
Yeah.
had, if you in your life, what type of AI agent or accessibility that would like solve all your problems right now?
I mean, we know that, like, that's multiple things. Like, there's a lot in the content creation world, obviously, that we're building to make
Mhm.
things easier so that you can put your voice out there, but not have to be a tech savvy guru in order to run a podcast or monetize on Instagram, right? Like, because that's the thing is, like, there's so many people out there who are doing really cool things, whether it's art or performance, or maybe you're inventing something, maybe you're a builder, maybe you're sharing knowledge on, and like, there's a lot of that stuff we both see on TikTok and Instagram. Like, I was watching a guy who's doing like sort of comedic DIY videos of how to build with like wood pallets. Like, if you just get old wood pallets junk from somewhere, how to use that to, like, he built a sauna in his
Oh
backyard.
wow. There you
Yeah, he
go.
built like a planter thing, like a garden
Do it
planter, and showed
yourself.
people how.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like stuff like that where people have like not just knowledge to share, but it's entertaining and it's uplifting and it's funny. Like, there's a lot that goes into creating that content. How do you make that easier so more people can get and share more of that kind of information and do
Yeah.
more of the kind of like community building, knowledge sharing? Because, like, when you're talking about like health and wellness, for example, I was just having a conversation with my sister the other day about how, like, I would love to find a way to implement AI. And I know, like, we know that we've got like other partners who are working on health and wellness, like AI products. Like, when you were just talking earlier, I was thinking, like, how do you implement, for example, like figuring out your diet and what diet works best for you? Like, how do you build like an AI driven system that can like do the things of like reading a medical, like giving you kind of like a medical read based on what sort of maybe symptoms you have? Like, I have fatigue and I want more energy, this, that, or the other thing.
Right.
And do
That's
something
the
where you could like,
advantage.
yeah, like where you could integrate having conversations with like an AI bot that would start helping and remembering, like, instead of doing a food journal, for example, like somebody who's got like Crohn's or some kind of dietary like digestive issue, doing, instead of like just doing a food diary and taking that to your doctor, have a conversation about what you've eaten today and how you felt and that kind of thing with this AI bot that you have it record that information and then come back to you with, this is what's worked for you before, maybe you should try this. And like, can you connect those sort of, that kind of a
Yeah.
product?
Right, because it makes it more accessible for the human, the consumer, that
Mhm.
can take more control of,
Yes.
their diet, instead of end up like taking it into their own accountability and then referring that to their physician or to their doctor. So, for example, let's say they have like a food or sorry, a meal in front of them and they take a picture of it and the AI is able to
Yes.
pinpoint the protein breakdowns, like this is good for your blood level sugars and etc. And like having devices where you're like either like you're taking your saliva or like some type of DNA format where it can read it at home and then have it function in a way to help your health journey and give you the right foods or the right supplements to take on the things that your body's lacking that the doctors can't really
Yes.
diagnose, right? Well, great business idea. So whoever's listening, holla at us if
Yeah,
you
like
guys,
holla at us.
wanna
Like, guys, this is the
right.
think tank situation that we're talking about all the day long. Y'all need to hire us. We have the best ideas. Like,
Right, right. I love
because
that concept though. You're so right about that because as humans, as we're evolving with the AI, we can take accountability now, especially health is wealth, and I cannot stress that enough. So we can have more efficient control or accessibility to diagnose ourselves with the technology,
mhm.
and then have the application refer us to a health and wellness doctor that will prescribe or will give you a full breakdown with what the AI is already doing and saying. That'll be a win-win
Yeah.
situation for everybody, right?
Or even like connecting that into, for example, different communities of like natural health and wellness. So, like,
Yes.
here's a community where there are conversations like this happening, or people who have similar symptoms, they've been using these different products that are natural products, or they've been trying this different like retreat center, which is another thing that we want to get into, like checking out, like,
Mhm,
because that is a thing, one of the things that broader, medicine in general, like
mhm,
tries to figure things out on a blanket basis. What is it like if for everyone who has Crohn's? Well, everyone who has Crohn's is different. Everyone who
right.
has like whatever kind of medical thing, it's different. There might be patterns and things that attribute to it, but everyone's body is unique and everyone needs different like biochemistry, right? And so
Mhm,
there is that element of sort of custom tailoring a health plan solution, right? Because at the end of the day, you kind of have to. No two people are alike. Everyone's going to have different needs or
mhm,
different ways that you react to different foods or different environmental things, and so having that kind of access, like you're saying, to a very personalized, very tailored sort of like what plan works for me, what different things do I want to incorporate from nutrition, from maybe energy work, from
mhm.
you know is there a location that I should visit that might be beneficial? Like, I mean, they even back in the day they used to send people to like what, to the desert for I don't know what
Yeah.
kind of respiratory issues or what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true, yeah, 'cause, with the desert, it's, what's it called? The air's thinner, right?
And like the
So
dry
they're breathing
air
in.
or something.
Yeah, yeah. I experienced that in Las Vegas, so yeah, you're definitely right about that. It's more,
Mhm.
the light or the air is more lighter, so when you're breathing in that desert air, it's like, "Oh, it's not as heavy or polluted as, in other cities."
Well, and it's like, but maybe that is just for some people, and maybe
Right.
not even necessarily
It's
for
not for
the same
everybody.
respiratory. Yeah,
Right,
maybe
right,
not even the same
exactly.
respiratory things. Like maybe for some
Mhm.
people you should be somewhere that's warmer or colder or whatever it is, right?
Right, exactly. Switching gears here, back to the health and wellness. My
Yeah.
question for our viewers out there is that all of our conscious gurus or coaches, our spiritual healers, or Reiki healers, our people that are out here healing the world in the retreat centers,
Hi
please let
there.
us know. Hello, please.
How you doing?
Right. We would love to support this journey. We would love to support your foundations and your partnerships and your companies. So just putting that out there into the universe on the
I
podcast.
mean, no,
This
hey,
this is
comment
what
your
the
stuff,
new.
peeps. Like we're
Yes,
looking
please.
for the
Yes.
places
Hmm.
that are in the right sort of frequency band, right? Because that is
Right,
kind of the other thing
exactly.
that we know is difficult for people is that there's a lot of noise out there because
Hmm.
of health and wellness being also sort of like a trend, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you have to sift through who's out there giving information or doing something just because it's trendy or just because it's popular and they can monetize it, and who's out there doing it because they've really spent the time to know what they're doing and they really genuinely want to help people, right?
Right. That's so true, girl. And we are here fully in support of people that want a different shift of perception and perspective. And they're working with trusted healers and partners and health and wellness professionals and getting a whole health kick from top to bottom, from the inside to the outside. Health is your wealth, and we are here to support the human's journeys to these retreat centers and also support the retreat centers that are looking to combine health and wellness devices, as far as frequency balancing,
Yeah.
with the actual physical practices that you guys have, your spiritual healers working on the patients at the resort centers as well. On top of the diet, the nutrition that these clients are taking, and creating a type of simplified ecosystem where it's like you get a whole, spend a month at a retreat center, you come back a brand new person. And that's where I
Right.
see paradigm shifting, to be honest with you. I feel like people are going to be much more open to the idea of traveling to a foreign place.
Hmm.
Not super foreign, but some of the wellness retreats are, in the middle of nowhere, like in Costa Rica, or
Yeah.
in a very popular, like foresty city and country, and then taking the objection of going to these places and getting the help and the conscious help that they need for their body, for their mind, and for their spirituality. And it
Hmm.
starts with that. We're in survival mode, trying to heal in this secluded environment, this Western environment, which is very difficult. But I feel like Haleigh and I have been running on short fruit fumes these past
I
couple of
know,
months,
right?
where we cannot wait to get to one of these retreat
I
centers
mean,
and
guys, yeah, like
have a
put
woman
put that.
power healing session.
Let's do it. Like, guys, tell us in the comments where we need to go and who we need to check out, and then like what do we
Please,
need to like share with us the best places for that. We need to know. And I'm loving it. I'm glad that we're here and we're exploring it, and at least like we have an awareness to the fact that there is a lot of noise out there, and I think that's an important conversation to have. Like, again, like you said, like people taking control of their physical health, their mental health, their spiritual wellness, like whatever are the things you need, there's something out there that facilitates it, that supports it, right?
right.
So like bring that knowledge to the masses. How do we help support sharing that? Like tell us all the good stuff, y'all. Tell us all the good places. Like we're trying to
Please,
bring
yes,
the
come on the
truth. Like
podcast. We can
come
start
hang out,
highlighting.
share out your product.
Yeah.
Like what are the things that are really cool and awesome out there that y'all are seeing? I mean,
Hmm.
there are some really rad frequency devices and things like that. Like there's a lot of really very cool things where people are starting to really understand how frequency and sound and even things like color therapy, right? Like and things like creative therapy or art therapy, which is obviously that's like, hey, oh, what's up? That's my realm. I'm all the way down for it. Like, let's create these kinds of like spaces and experiences for people
Hmm.
and make it a little bit more fun and relaxing and not so much there's something kind of pressureful, I think, sometimes to some of it, right? Like it's a little bit too serious in the sense of like it, it's not accessible sometimes the when it's a little bit too regimented or serious too, right? So
Hmm.
like there's also that element of wanting to find, I think,
Something
spaces
fun.
that have something
Yeah.
fun and something
And
nurturing,
entertaining and
right?
something nurturing where your body feels safe going into it. It's not like you're walking into a doctor's office with like the really bad lighting.
Yes.
So the environment's beautiful, you're
Girl, like
comfortable.
that's legit. No, that's fair. The lighting and like I know it needs to be sterile and you got to see what you're doing, but also this is like not really very spa vibes right now.
It's
Like
definitely not. Yeah, so doctors out
no.
there, shout out to y'all, but you guys need to change your lighting to make our
Can
nervous
you
system
please
feel
bring
comfortable.
Vynora and Franki in to do a rebrand on how doctors' offices are sort of
Oh,
interior
yes.
designified? Like
Sign us up.
like bring us in and let us help you feng shui this a little bit nicer for
Please, please, yes, yes, especially for all the ladies out there. We can get some candles, some essential oils in there.
let's start making this like a nice vibe. Like, I'm girls. Should we not have some? I love the idea of candles at the gynecologist's office.
honestly, it would be so much more relaxing, right?
If I'm coming in here feeling a little bit more like I'm about to take a bubble bath and a little bit less like I'm about to just be the most uncomfortable I ever am in my life, like,
You'll be more motivated to go. Like, oh, I have this appointment. It's gonna be okay.
right?
It's
It's like,
comfortable. I
it's
have this,
fine. It's,
right?
I don't know what we got to do, but like we got to fluff it up in here for the ladies. We got to make it a little bit nicer and gentler and cozier in here because this is not a
Mhm.
place where I want to feel like my feet are always cold. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so uncomfortable.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's like
well,
that's what is why we want to, provide the space for humans to have an interaction or have accessibility or the knowledge of where these retreat centers are located, who are the people that are running these retreats with the Reiki healing, the spiritual healing, and also the health and wellness healing aspect of that, and
mhm,
where and their budgets and how much it costs, and what are they
absolutely.
going to gain while they're there and when they come back. So we want to use this platform to shout out to the humans that are looking for people like that, and the humans that are looking for those type of retreat centers. We got y'all.
We're like, listen, we're gonna get it all figured out. We want to know where all those best spaces are too. Like, tell us where there are doctors' offices that are already doing this. Because that's the other thing is that I'm
Mhm.
sure there are like, even if it's like functional medicine doctors and things like that, like there are spaces that are figuring this out and doing this correctly and making things more comfortable for people. And I'm sure that that's not what's getting the mainstream attention, right? So, hey,
Definitely not.
y'all, like,
Yeah.
bring it to us. Is there a space that's already doing this right that we could example to all the
Please.
other spaces, right? Like
Yes.
show us that stuff too so we can be like, "Hey guys, this is actually rad. We should start asking for this everywhere." Like where are we doing
Exactly.
it right?
That's right, girl. And also just promoting them and, being more of a support and an influence of
Yeah.
stepping into that social media or that content role of these case studies or your expertise in this type of field, that it needs to be promoted. People want to see this type of content. They want that type of trusted knowledge and that information that
Mhm.
like there's other options out there. There's other people that can be more hands on and work with you and provide you the most help on your health and wellness journey. So yeah, I think that we are covering a lot of ground here, and
We're
I feel
covering a
like
lot of ground.
we're over here trying just to heal the world and change the world. Like I always say, for the people, for the economy, for the planet.
This
It
is
doesn't
this
work
is what we're doing.
without us. Yes, it doesn't work without us. And I'm not trying to hate on big pharma, but like you guys need to come up with another
Armageddon.
plan. Yeah, you
Or
guys need to
like
come up with another plan because the original plan is not working, and we see that.
but hey
you
guys, who
know,
it's a power to the people kind of thing is our biggest thing,
right?
whatever it is, whether it's, thriving in the content creation, the media spaces and giving people a space for a voice or giving you the power back when it comes to your health and like what your best path is, or even in spirituality. And like that's really what it is. It's giving the free will and the power back to the people to be able to choose for themselves what's best for them and not be so limited and restricted when it comes to resources, right? Like how do we support not just like showcasing, hey, like what does it cost to go to these retreat centers, for example, but like here's how you can get there. Like here's how you can find the resources to actually get there. Or like here's some
Mhm.
ways that you can like how do you amplify what you're good at and what you really love to be able to generate for yourself what you need to utilize these products and these things, right?
Right,
I mean, but that's a
exactly.
whole other podcast, isn't it?
Yes. Before we end, I'd like to give out some shout outs. Shout out to
Yes.
our fellow partner, Murray Jackson.
I was
Murray,
just gonna say,
oh,
like, our third musketeer, Murray Angel, does have lovereiki.com.au. Like, we'll share
go
that in the
check him
comments. If you
out.
are looking for energy healing services, we already know someone who's rocking rad, and you've seen him on the channel. Go check out Frankie's podcast network to see more of his story. And we're certainly excited to bring more of like who else do you want to shout out? We've got like definitely our third
Oh,
musketeer, but we've got health and wellness peeps that we're loving on.
yeah. I was going to say shout out to George Monty again. He was on our last podcast. We had a great conversation about psychedelics and his journey, and he was asking us, yes, he was asking us questions about our journey. So shout out to George Monty. Looking forward to having you back on our podcast again. Great, insightful, really cool Hawaiian guy, hang ten dude.
Hang tang cowabunga, yo.
And
I love it.
anybody else you want to shout out?
I think we got to shout out our friend Sarah Payan and her
Oh
Planted
yeah.
podcast and say, hey, how you doing? We had a really great conversation with her. We'd love to have her on the podcast. Go check her out and hang out on her podcast. So shout out to Sarah because in these health and wellness spaces and again, the sort of psychedelics, alternative medicines, that kind of thing, definitely loving what she's got going on and the kind of,
Yeah, she's
conversations that
awesome.
she's generating.
Yes, especially in the cannabis space. She's a great member and a great sponsor and a very really really standoff woman when it comes to supporting other women, supporting other people in the cannabis space. So yes, go check out Sarah Pan. We'll of course we'll drop the tags and links below.
I know, we'll tag
Um,
peeps all
yeah.
all up in here, like, whoever gets a shout out. We're gonna need to make this like a regular segment at the end here where we just
Oh,
give
for
shout
sure.
outs and just start
Yes.
tagging the peeps on there to be like, "Hey, guys, like, we
Yeah.
just wanna send you some love because 'cause you're awesome." And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
to that,
What? Yes.
I think
Oh.
we're thinking of the same person now for the next shout out. Let's find out, like, we should almost have little cards that we write it down on. Who are you wanna shout out? Like, okay, tell me yours because I bet we have the
I
same
was
one.
yeah, I was gonna shout out our boy Keith Huffman. He is an amazing authority figure in the health and wellness space. About to launch his business of plants over pills, which is fascinating, totally our vibe. So welcome him in on our podcast eventually as well, and also his partnerships with Make Wellness, which is a peptide.
What up?
It's a peptide product that helps. How do you say it? I can't even explain it. Just cut that part out.
No, girl, don't even worry about it. Guess what? We're gonna like, hey, make wellness. We know we want to share your stuff on there too. So tell us the best ways to do it because they got the peptides thing like under wraps. And I want to do a shout out to our boy Mark Davis in Toronto.
That's
He's a
right.
behind the scenes, very Wizard of Oz. You don't know that he knows everything, but he's got it under wraps. And like big props to Mark Davis because he's the one who introduced Amax and I. So like,
Yes, he brought
yo,
us together. Shout out to Mark Davis, the natural guy that's connecting all the people, all the dots. If you guys know
mhm.
Mark, you guys are in great hands, either connecting with others that are going to support your business or just connecting humans in general. Great, great guy. Thank you for supporting us and having you part of our team has been amazing and great. And shout out to you, man, for bringing all this together.
Absolutely, and, like, for that matter, shout out to Mark Zia, Edward Zia, I s just Mark Davis. I love that when my
Yeah.
brain does that.
Yeah.
Misfiring neurons, which peptides do I need for that make wellness? Help a sister out. Like, no, Edward Zia too, while we're talking about, like, Marie in Australia. Edward Zia's networking stuff in Australia and all the peeps that he connects globally been really awesome too, and, man, we do just have so many awesome humans in our sphere right now,
We
don't we?
do. We do. People from all over, especially in Australia, from down under.
Down under, we gotta get there, y'all. So,
Shout out to
to that
Edward
end,
Z and his network. Yes, of course.
like, we wanna be in person at an Edward Zia event. So, like, guys, hit the like button, do the share, do the subscribe thing. We got a donation button in the links below. If you wanna support all the Musketeers getting to Australia and hanging out and having a good time with Ed Zia, like, please do the things,
Yes.
and, like, also tell us all the things that you want us to talk about next time as well. Like, what are the topics that are foremost in your mind? Because chances are pretty good that we've had a conversation about it at some point, whatever it is.
Exactly.
I love
I
it.
love it.
Hey,
Awesome.
Venora,
This is
sis,
yes,
thanks for
yes,
hanging
sis.
out.
Of course. I love having real talk with you. We're just getting into all the weeds and catching up on all the AI stuff and the health and wellness things. This has been a vibe. This has been a really great podcast just to spread our ideas across our audience. And we will definitely come back with more topics next week.
Guys, there's going to be more real talk coming at you soon. So thanks for joining Vynora and Franki. We've got Alecia Maximo of Vynora. I'm Haleigh Overseth of Franki's Podcast Network. And like, guys, we will see you next time for more.
See you next time. Bye.
Later.